Welcome to Market Insight for the week of December 4th through the 8th, 2023. Now, starting with our top-down approach, the monthly looks very bullish, as we've been saying for quite some time now. We close November on a bullish tone, a very strong note. We take out October's high. We also take out September's high. November closes just above September's high. So very bullish. And November's price action, this good solid rally up, indicates that the heavy volume that we saw last month in October is likely accumulation rather than supply. Now, that may get tested in the future at some point, but right now we're trending back up on the monthly. So we have obvious resistance here at 46.34 and change, and then higher resistance at the all-time highs at 48.08, and what is it, 25 up there, 48.08.25. Note the confluence here at the all-time highs, just above the all-time highs when we get up there. So we'll keep that in mind when we get up there. I'm just flagging that for now. Let's see what the weekly looks like. Nothing overtly bearish here. Yes, there's certainly some shortening of the thrust and some effort to go up last week. And you know, I would call this effort versus result, because even if the Thanksgiving week or the holiday week, if that had normal volume, it would be about the same as these two volumes, right? So even if this was not an increase in volume, there would still be shortening of the thrust up there. So, or an effort versus result, excuse me. So yeah, there's some supply that's coming in this week. So we are vulnerable to a pullback, but that would likely be shallow, maybe to the 45.66 level if we do, before heading back up towards the 46.34 resistance level, and potentially even higher. Now, this does make the 5th week in a row of higher closes. So that's very bullish on the one hand. On the other hand, we are getting closer and closer to a pullback at some point. So we have to be alert for that. And the shortening of the thrust and coming up into resistance here suggests that we'll see some sort of a pullback. I think, and when we get to the daily, I'll explain more why. But I think even though we're seeing shortening of the thrust and some effort versus result here, we're more likely to hit the buy high here, the 46.34 level, and then come back for a pullback. Excuse me. But we'll see. In any event, we do want to pay attention. We could get that pullback this week. So even though I just said what I said, we've got to be alert to the potential of a pullback. Now, notice the wave structure on the weekly. The down waves have suddenly vanished, right? And the up waves are now getting larger and resuming back up into the uptrend. So the buyers have regained dominance, is the way to look at them, right? So we're in a bullish phase. So let's take a look at the daily. Now the daily this week held gains in an absorption of these prior week highs in early September. And that continued this week. After the holiday week, we continued to hold those gains, even though some unusual activity occurred. So Monday was this day right here. Let me get a pen. Monday was this day, narrow range day. Nothing to note one way or the other there. Tuesday was one of those days where tried to go up, tried to go down, closes in the middle on an increase in volume. And those are significant, especially when they're at resistance or support like this. They can be very significant. And their meaning is that there's been some consolidation, and then one side or the other tries to makes a run. Maybe the sellers made a run to the downside, or the buyers made a run to the upside, and then the sellers came in, but they kind of exhaust themselves in there. And after that, it shouldn't be more than a day or two, maybe 3 at the most. We would see the market move in one direction or the other. So, and that occurs on all time frames. We see this on all time frames. So we saw that try to go up, try to go down, closes in the middle. So we're expecting in the next couple to 3 days, the market to move. And so Wednesday looked like an up thrust. We come up out of the top of the tops there, the top of resistance, come right back down again on an increase in volume. And we closed very poorly back in the middle of the trading range. I thought, well, now we're likely to come back down to 45, 44. And I was even thinking probably going to break that and come down to 4,500. But Thursday, no, holds Tuesday's low, holds the 2-day low here, and then rallies back on up. We didn't get the follow through to the downside. Instead, we test Tuesday's lows and rally a close firm, and we do so on very strong volume. And then Friday, we test back into the middle of Thursday's rally, and then we continue higher. Thursday and Wednesday's highs. I don't know if we closed above Wednesday's highs, but we certainly broke it. And we closed the week on its highs. So remember, I said I'll explain why I think we're going to go higher first before we go lower when we were talking about the weekly. So even though we've got shortening of the thrust on the weekly, to me, the daily looks like it's trying to leave absorption. And if that's true, then we're going to make highs first, and then maybe we'll come back down and retest support. Now, if my reading on this is not true, if this is flawed, then these lows should break, and then we come down to lower support. But I think I'm reading it correctly. We'll see what happens. So I'm anticipating then that we're going to hit 44.34 first before we see much of a pullback. And support on an initial pullback probably be around the 45.66 area, which is right here. So we might come up here and then come back down, and then I don't think we're going to go much lower than that. The obvious next support down here is 45. So if this area starts to break, then this would be the next level down. That would be the target. But we're pretty strong in here, so I'm anticipating we hold up in this area. Let's take a quick look at the major markets here. Everybody's bullish. Nothing I see that's negative here. And now the Dow in the middle has become the leader, new leader. I suppose it's the blue chips now going to lead us into Christmas and the end of the year. So we're in a bullish phase. So that's it for this week. I just want to remind everyone that we had a deep practice on Saturday morning, this morning, at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So check the membership area for the video, because there were only a few folks in the session because it's a Saturday. And I apologize for that. I forgot we were changing the schedule. I'm going to be away during the middle of December, and I'll talk about that on Thursday. But I'm trying to make up for some of those days because we have the Christmas holiday in the midst of it all as well. And it's kind of hard to squeeze in all those days at once. So that's one of the reasons why we're doing, or that is the reason why we did the Saturday session. So if you haven't seen that, which is likely, then check it out, because we talked quite a bit about 15-minute and 5-minute tape reading and how to read, how to do it effectively using both. So there's that in your membership area, or it should be in your membership area shortly. And then we'll see you at Deep Practice this Thursday on December 7th at our normal time. So I'll see you Thursday for Deep Practice. Take care. Bye-bye.